YouTube has almost 3 billion active users. Most of them are watching recipes, reaction channels, or someone reviewing the headphones they just ordered. But on the same platform, a man is kissing a corpse in his backyard. A puppet in a glass cabinet is allegedly attacking its owner. A brother and his sister are eyewitnesses of real rituals. And a channel with 350 million views was built entirely on a that nobody stopped for 8 years. I created this iceberg myself. Every single entry is a real channel, a real video, or a real person. And the deeper we go, the darker it gets. Let's start at the surface. This is actually the cleanest entry on this entire iceberg. Olivier de Sagazan is a French artist, a painter, a sculptor, a man who has spent decades thinking about what it means to be alive inside a body. And in the video called Transfiguration, he sits at a table covered in wet clay, dressed in a suit and tie, and begins to destroy his own face. He presses the clay into his skin. He builds it up, layer after layer, until his face is unrecognizable. Then he tears it away and rebuilds. He smears and reworks and sculpts himself into a series of creatures, each one less recognizably human than the last. The performance has been running for decades now, performed live around the world. His explanation for it has never changed. He once said, "I am flabbergasted in seeing to what degree people think it is normal to be alive. All my focus is to reveal the strangeness of being in the world." What he's doing isn't horror in the traditional sense. Everything after this gets harder to explain, and some of it can't be explained at all. In 2007, a 23-year-old woman named Louise started uploading video blogs to YouTube. She had just moved to London, leaving her hometown of Norwich behind. She wanted to document her new life and keep in touch with friends. However, she had no idea what was coming. The first videos of her channel are completely ordinary. A young woman settling into a new flat, talking to a camera. Her accent is warm and she seems happy. But things would quickly start to change. It was very small things at first, like a sound she couldn't explain, a shadow in the corner of a frame, a door that was closed when she left it and opened when she returned. Then bigger things. Someone is watching her, someone is inside the building. Most of the videos are really creepy. Take a look at this.
Fuck, he's here. Again, fuck. Call the fucking police. Call the fucking police. Oh, fuck. Battery there. Shit. The noise, Lizzie. Lizzie, did you hear it?
Yeah, I did. All right, that's kids. I'm gonna get out of there. Hey, I can't open the door, Louise. How'd you get the door open?
The key's in the door.
No.
The keys are in the door.
No, they're not in the door. There's no keys in the door.
What?
Where are the keys?
They're in the door.
Yeah, all right, don't worry. There's just no key. You must have put them somewhere else.
They're always in the door.
Oh, come on, I'm gonna sort this out for you, all right? How else do I get out of here? How about the French window?
It's gone. The key's gone.
Key's gone? Oh, shit, light's blown.
Light in the hallway. I put the light in the hallway.
What is it? We've got to get out of here. We've got to get out of here. Okay, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Don't panic.
Oh, God.
Shh. Hey, what?
Something just touched me.
Oh, my God.
As it turned out, the series was created by a filmmaker, and it was entirely fiction. A found footage web series long before that was a common format. When the first videos went up in 2007, people genuinely believed it. Some still do. The original videos are still live. The reason it worked so well was because nobody had a template yet for what YouTube horror looked like. It looked completely real. A woman, frightened and alone in a flat in London, uploading her final days. Pandar's Puppets is a YouTube channel whose first videos were actually set as made for kids. The early uploads show puppets moving and speaking to each other in what is recognizably a children's program format, and none of it is right. At first, the content wasn't all that crazy, but as the uploads kept coming, things turned. The videos stopped making sense. Titles like Blue Screen Test, Blue Brother Screen Text, and Full Moon Night, Happy Troll After Dark started appearing. That last one is especially unsettling. A mask floating in a reddish atmosphere, a lit candle, and an energy that is absolutely not meant for children.
The moon seems to be out, and all of the creatures are in their places. Yeah? Just like you? Maybe me? Huh? You and I are a lot alike. I can tell just by the way you look at me.
He also produced a series called Happy World Episode, featuring the same strange, unsettling puppets. In one video called How to Make Controller Rods for Puppet Arms, the creator actually shows his face. And the thing is, he seems to genuinely enjoy what he's doing. He's just a regular man who makes puppets, but unfortunately, the puppets happen to be deeply uncomfortable to look at. On April 13th, 2011, a brand new YouTube account uploaded its first video. The channel was called Ivan0135, and the video was titled Disclosure Leaked UFO Alien Case Video, Confidential Documents Old Footage. The clip opens with a still frame of a KGB logo. Then we see what appears to be vintage black and white footage, complete with film grain, scratches, and that distinctive clicking sound of an old projector. We see a house with a mysterious object hovering behind it, a saucer-shaped UFO filmed from an aerial view, a crashed spacecraft with an alien lying on the ground nearby. And then we see him, Skinny Bob. Skinny Bob appears to be exactly what decades of science fiction have told us an alien should look like. A grey, massive head, enormous black eyes, an incredibly thin body with spindly limbs. He sits in what looks like some kind of interview room, occasionally blinking, his head moving slightly as if he's conscious and aware of the camera. Over the next month, Ivan would upload 3 more videos, each one containing additional footage, an alien autopsy, the interior of a spacecraft, and perhaps most intriguing of all, a group of aliens walking toward the camera in full color film. And then, nothing. The account went silent. Ivan never responded to comments, never uploaded anything else, and never explained where this footage came from. To this day, the account remains on YouTube, a time capsule frozen in May 2011. Now, let me be clear, this is probably fake. Aliens probably didn't crash on Earth and get interviewed by the KGB. That's not the interesting part. The interesting part is that after 14 years of analysis, nobody has been able to definitely prove it's fake. CGI experts have examined this footage extensively. The overall consensus is that if this is computer generated, it would have required a budget of over $100,000 to produce in 2011. That's not pocket change for a hoax that the creator apparently has no interest in monetizing or taking credit for. Some people believed it might be an animatronic puppet, but that would also require a substantial budget and a team of skilled puppeteers. The way Skinny Bob shifts his posture, looks down when his height is measured, blinks naturally. It's remarkably well done. A lot of people noticed that the fabric has a woven pattern not found in any known Earth material. Reflections in Skinny Bob's eyes have been studied for clues about the room and people behind the camera. And through all of this, Ivan has said nothing. That's what makes this so strange. If this was a hoax, if someone went through all this effort to create convincing fake alien footage, why not take credit? Why not monetize it? Why not at least respond to the millions of people who have watched and discussed your work? The YouTube channel isn't even monetized. There are no t-shirts to buy, no Patreon link, and not a single documentary appearance. In 2011, when this was uploaded, producing something of this quality would have required a full production crew. Multiple people would have to know how this was made. And yet in 14 years, not a single person has stepped forward to claim credit. This has led some people to wonder, what if it's real? I'm not saying I believe that. I'm saying I understand why some people do. Because the alternative, that someone created an incredibly elaborate, expensive hoax and then just abandoned it, is almost as hard to explain. So for now, the mystery of Skinny Bob remains unsolved. Nugumu is a Japanese language virtual horror YouTuber. That's actually the closest description available, and even that doesn't quite cover what the channel actually is. The channel has over 72,000 subscribers and around 120 videos. The videos feature naked mannequin dolls, modified, broken in places, marked with rust and nails and dirt, that move only their lips against a dark background. They repeat threatening words directly at the viewer. Sometimes they are replaced by other broken dolls performing different videos. The channel's about page translated from Japanese, repeats a single word 8 times. That word is tongue. And the video titles aren't even readable. The entire channel is written in mojibake, garbled text that happens when Japanese characters are decoded with the wrong encoding. Some of the videos cut to black and white footage scanning walls covered in missing person posters. The footage is distorted. This video, for example, shows a mask with nails everywhere, in its mouth, its eye sockets, and cracks everywhere. The creator behind the channel has never been confirmed. The channel has been active for over 5 years, and whoever is making these has never broken character. This one is different from Nugumu. Nugumu is made by a person who understands what they're making. What lives at this entry is something older and stranger. A glass cabinet holds a puppet that the family who owns it claims moves on its own. They claim it has attempted to harm its previous owner. They have filmed it over a period of years and uploaded those recordings to YouTube, building a slow and cumulative archive of what they present as ongoing paranormal activity. Now look, whether you believe in haunted objects or not, that's not really the point here. The footage functions as horror regardless. People have believed in cursed objects for as long as people have existed. What's new is the impulse to put it on YouTube, to create a channel, to build an archive. Whether anything paranormal is happening is a question nobody can answer. Whether the footage is uncomfortable is not a question at all. In Indonesian Borneo, the Dayak people have a name for a specific kind of witch, Cuyang. At night, the Cuyang detaches her head from her body to fly through the dark and feed. The body remains behind. The channel called Cuyang Dak features footage that blurs the line between folk documentation and something more deliberately unsettling. The content treats the mythology as real, the way someone inside that tradition would treat it, not as performance for an outside audience, but as a genuine account of something that happens. Whether this is authentic footage from within the tradition, staged content designed to look authentic, or something else entirely has never been confirmed. The folklore context is what makes this so disturbing. It's easy to dismiss something strange if it comes without a frame. It's much harder when there is an entire belief system held by real communities, with centuries of documentation behind it. The Cuyang is not a Western horror invention. It is a genuinely held supernatural belief in certain communities in Southeast Asia. A family in the state of Mexico, filming a home video on their property, sunlight, kids playing, everything completely normal, and then something sprints across the frame and vanishes. It moves across the shot and then it's just gone, like it passed through a wall. The movement doesn't look like a person and it doesn't look like an edit either. Whatever it is, it was there for a fraction of a second and then it wasn't. The original uploader has stated pretty often that the video was shared without their consent. In Mexican folklore, a chanek is a supernatural being, a guardian spirit of animals and the wild. If you encounter one, it can steal your soul, leaving the body to wander without it. The person whose soul was taken will fall ill. If the soul isn't recovered through ritual, they may pass away. Nobody has explained the footage. It could be a person running, but the speed is wrong, and it disappears almost immediately. For this entry, you need to know some more context. Corp is a website that has existed on the margins of the internet for a long time. It is associated with some of the most extreme and disturbing content ever posted online, including footage widely believed to show real abuse. The Corp connection alone is enough to change the context of anything attached to it. The video called Each Day I Grow Some More has a single description: Caillou theme song Corp. Caillou is a children's cartoon. The Caillou theme song is the sound of childhood. The video is surreal. It has no clear narrative and no resolution. The imagery doesn't explain itself, and it has never been satisfactorily explained by anyone. The Corp label is the problem. It's not a production company and not a creative studio. Instead, its name is attached to some of the worst content the early internet has ever produced. Its presence here, attached to a description that invokes a children's program, is not accidental. Someone chose that label very deliberately. What the video actually is, who made it, and what the Caillou reference means have never been answered. In July 2016, a young woman named Mary uploaded her first video to YouTube. She had woken up in what looked like her parents' house, or a copy of it. Some details were slightly wrong. None of the doors or windows could be opened. The internet worked, but she couldn't see anyone else on it. She could send messages out, but nothing ever came back. During the day, nothing happened. At night, Mary was not alone. Hi, I'm Mary. Mary ran for nearly 4 years and ended in 2020. It's all fiction, made by a young filmmaker working mostly alone, filming in her own home during college breaks. She's talked about it openly since then. how she made it, what it was about, what she was working with. There are things in the house with Mary, a veiled woman who hunts her at night, a figure in a mask that only appears in mirrors, a black shadow that follows her through the rooms. They never explain themselves. And over the course of the series, it starts to become clear what's actually going on. The house is a prison Mary built for herself. The veiled woman is depression. The mask is how she sees herself. The shadow is regret. Interestingly, most YouTube RGs leave you with tons of questions at the end, but Hi, I'm Mary leaves you with something closer to relief. Talk about one of the strangest broadcast hijackings in history. On November 26, 1977, viewers in southern England tuned into their evening news on ITN when something very strange happened. The newsreader's audio was suddenly replaced by a deep, distorted voice. The voice claimed to be someone, or something, called Vrillon, a representative of something called the Ashtar Galactic Command. For 6 minutes, this voice delivered a message to the people of Earth. It warned humanity to remove all weapons of evil and to embrace what it called the Age of Aquarius. It spoke of how Earth was entering a new age of existence and that humans needed to learn to live together in peace.
This is the voice of Pandar, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights and experiments. We speak to you and listen and explain as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this your planet Earth. We come to know the destiny of your race and your world so that you may clean up to your fellow beings across this state to avoid the disaster that threatens your world and the beings on other worlds around you.
Hundreds of viewers called the station in a panic. Some people genuinely believed they were receiving a message from extraterrestrial beings. The police launched an investigation, and they never found out who did it. What makes this so impressive is how it was accomplished. Southern Television used a microwave signal to transmit their broadcast, and somehow, someone managed to override that signal for 6 full minutes without being caught. Unlike the later Max Headroom incident in Chicago, where someone with relatively accessible equipment hijacked a signal for 90 seconds, this actually required knowledge of how microwave transmissions worked and access to equipment that could override them. Some have speculated that the perpetrators were connected to the Vrillon UFO movement, because Vrillon sounds suspiciously similar to the name of the movement's founder, Claude Vrillon, but this has never been confirmed. The statute of limitations has long since expired. The perpetrators, whoever they were, got away with one of the strangest broadcast hijackings in television history. And we are left with this bizarre recording of a distorted voice claiming to speak for an alien galactic federation. So is it real? Almost certainly not. But whoever did it, they committed fully to the bit, and that's kind of admirable. The Human Pet 1 started in 2006, which makes it one of the oldest horror series on YouTube. The setup is simple. A man named Eric Taylor is being held in a room with nothing but a mattress. His captor calls himself Sam Deercott, which is an anagram of Codemaster, and he's the one running the channel, filming Eric's captivity and uploading it. The channel description says it all. You will decide whether Eric gets to see his family again. You will decide whether Eric lives or passes away. This is my masterpiece. The audience got to vote. What Eric eats, how he survives, whether he survives at all. It was interactive in a way that made the whole thing feel uncomfortably real, like you were participating in something you shouldn't be part of. There was even a second channel called Find Eric Taylor, supposedly run by Eric's father, begging viewers to help find his abducted son. And of course it was all fiction. But it didn't matter, because enough people reported the channel that YouTube suspended the original account for violating terms of service. They couldn't tell it was fake, or they just didn't care. The series came back on a new account, ran until 2008, and then just stopped. Eric's fate was never decided. On the surface, these channels look like the most wholesome thing on YouTube. Someone finds an animal in trouble, rescues it just in time, and you feel good about watching it. That's what it looks like. The reality is that sometimes the animals are being put in danger on purpose so they can be rescued on camera. The fear and injuries are real. The only part that's staged is the rescue. Between October 2018 and May 2021, investigators found over 180 of these videos on YouTube. The 50 most viewed ones alone had been watched more than 133 million times. YouTube was making money off this horrible content that was showing up in the recommended feeds of people who just liked watching videos about pets. YouTube said they'd ban this content in March 2021. By June of that year, 47 new videos had already been posted across 15 new channels. And that's only the ones that got caught. This is an organized, real-world network of people who pay to watch horrible videos. That operated on YouTube for years, and that was hiding in plain sight. Monkey hate is a specific phenomenon. It's hate directed at monkeys, primarily baby macaques. The communities that gathered around it on YouTube were not passive consumers. They commissioned content. They discussed methods and they paid people in Indonesia to carry out specific forms of abuse on camera. In 2023, after a year-long investigation, the BBC exposed what the network actually looked like. A group called Million Tears had hundreds of members. A group called Ape's Cage had around 400. US-based users were paying Indonesian operators via PayPal. The ringleader, known only as Mr. Ape, has never been publicly identified. American member Michael McCartney, who called himself the Torture King, was among those arrested and charged. Multiple people across the US and UK faced prosecution, and it all began on YouTube. His real name was Edward Muscar, born in 1932 in Queens, New York, into a Sicilian immigrant family. He wanted to be an entertainer his whole life and actually got there for a while. He hosted a late-night show as a vampire character in Kansas City and even ran a children's program called 41 Treehouse Lane. Then, in 1986, he was convicted of sexual battery in Orange County, Florida. He got 18 months in prison and 10 years of probation. After that, no studio would touch him. He moved around, tried to hide from the registry, and eventually ended up in a small town in Florida where his neighbors found out who he was and made his life miserable. He fled to South Carolina without telling the authorities, which as a registered offender you can't do. In 2006, at 74 years old, he created a YouTube account under the name Edarem. He uploaded around 150 videos of himself doing strange lip-sync performances and weird bits. The Pretty Woman video got over 4.5 million views. His channel pulled in nearly 15 million total. He became a genuine internet sensation. People called him a YouTube legend in the comments. Most of them had no idea about his past. His probation condition said he wasn't allowed to own a computer. By posting on YouTube, he was violating those conditions. Florida investigators saw his videos and traveled to South Carolina to arrest him. His computer was confiscated. It had no illegal material on it. He was put on new probation with the same rule: no computer without permission. So he gave his password to a friend and had the friend upload new videos for him, thinking that would be allowed since he wasn't technically using a computer himself. The judge didn't see it that way. On January 6th, 2010, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for violating his probation. In the courtroom, he told the judge, "I'm frankly bewildered that I'm here. I don't think I've done anything wrong." He said he was just an entertainer, that the videos were done in fun, that most people saw it that way. The judge didn't agree. His fans posted messages online calling for his freedom, but none of it mattered. Edward Muscar passed away in prison on January 8, 2012 from lung cancer. He was 79 years old. Plasma Masterdon was a YouTube channel run by a 73-year-old man named Donzel Owens Jr. from Lisbon, Ohio. He had been on the platform since 2006, uploading covers of popular songs, Conan Gray, and whatever was trending, plus vlogs of his daily life, his car, his town, local parks and festivals. The content was warm and simple. An old man who liked to sing, liked to share, liked to talk to a camera. He had a small but genuine audience. On August 19th, 2019, Donzel was charged with sexual imposition and forced to register as a Tier 1 sex offender. Nobody on YouTube knew. Over a year later, in October 2020, someone on the r/morbid reality subreddit linked to a sex offender registry showing a man named Donzel Edward Owens with the same birth date, same town, same eye color, same birthmark, and the same white 2005 Buick Century that Plasma Masterdon had shown off in a video called My Car 2005 Buick Century. It was pretty clearly the same person. 4 days after that Reddit post went up, Don uploaded a video saying he was stepping away from YouTube because his health was getting worse. He had COPD from decades of smoking. A lot of people thought the timing was suspicious. He never addressed the allegations. He just ignored every comment about it. On December 11th, 2020, YouTuber Nick Crowley published a video called YouTube's Hidden Predator, laying out all the evidence. 10 days later, on December 21st, Donzel Owens Jr. passed away at Salem's hospital. He was 73. 3 weeks before the 2011 Tucson shooting, Jared Lee Loughner uploaded a video to his YouTube channel, Class Sit Up 10, titled Final Thoughts. It was not the first video. Over the preceding months, he had posted a series of rambling uploads about currency, grammar, the Constitution, mind control, and what he called his genocide school. The channel was public. Anyone could have watched it. Almost nobody did. On January 8th, 2011, Loughner opened fire outside a Safeway supermarket in Tucson, Arizona, where Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords was holding a public meeting. He caused 6 people to pass away and critically wounded 13 others, including Giffords at close range. Loughner was 22 years old. After the shooting, investigators went straight to his channel. It was one of the most important things they had. Months of videos, all public, all uploaded for anyone to see, and almost nobody had watched any of them. A guy was falling apart on camera in real time and it was just sitting there on YouTube the whole time. Loughner is currently serving 7 consecutive life sentences plus 140 years. The channel still exists. On November 7th, 2007, 18-year-old Pekka Eric Auvinen walked into Jokela High School in Finland and caused 8 people to pass away before turning on himself. He had 2 YouTube channels. The channels featured footage of previous mass casualty events: Columbine, the Tokyo subway sarin attack, the Waco siege. His user profile described himself as a natural selector, someone with the right, even the obligation, to eliminate those he deemed unfit. His final upload, titled Jokela High School Massacre, opened with an image of his school and cut to red filtered footage of him pointing a gun directly at the camera. That video was uploaded before everything happened. Here's the part of this entry that matters most. Months before Auvinen walked into that school, an American YouTuber had watched his content, assessed it as a genuine threat, and contacted authorities, calling for an investigation. But nothing was done. 8 people passed away at Jokela. The warning was on YouTube. The call was made. The system looked at all of those things and decided not to act. This entry is different from the others in this tier, because there's no channel and no uploads. There's only this one piece of footage, shown in court, that circulated widely afterward. The surveillance tape from Colleen Ritz's passing shows Philip Kism, 14 years old, following his 24-year-old math teacher into a school restroom, pacing back and forth outside the door, and then emerging with his hood pulled up. However, it doesn't show what happened inside. It mainly shows the aftermath. A recycling bin moved across the frame, allegedly used to transport her body to the woods behind the school. Everything before and after. The restroom door is the dividing line. A handwritten note found near Ritz's body read, "I hate you all." The tape circulated online after the trial. What makes it so disturbing is how ordinary it looks for most of its running time. Trey Cesler ran a YouTube channel called Mr. Anime. He had been uploading anime reviews for 5 years. By 2011, he had over 1 million views. He was part of the early YouTube community in the way that community actually functioned. A real person, with a real audience, making content about something he genuinely cared about.
I'm California. It's like every day I get online and click open Yahoo or whatever I open and let the publicity fill my mind with bad thoughts about the place I live. So I don't know what's going on. You know, they had an article that were like, well, the economy's gone bad. Everyone's losing their job and getting mad and shooting everybody. Yeah, I guess that makes sense since a lot of the lately had recently lost their job. But I'm a firearms owner myself, but it is a little bit disturbing to know that you could be a victim in something like this at these times. All the people that were victims, you think it won't happen to me, but sometimes it does. But seriously, every day I open Yahoo, I'm like, well, time to see what today's is, and hey, there's another one. So I don't know when it's gonna stop. I think it's why.
1 month before March 20th, 2012, he posted a video announcing a break of 2 to 3 weeks. He didn't say why. His last video claimed he'd been hired by a film company. On March 20th, 2012, Cesler unalived his parents and his older brother in their home in Waller, Texas. He then drove to Waller High School, where he had planned to carry out an attack. He was caught before he could go through with it. He wrote on the walls of the family home, "I love my mom, dad and brother. God forgive me because I cannot forgive myself." He had uploaded more than 300 videos over 5 years. The relationship was real. None of it had any visible connection to what he would do. He is currently serving life in prison without parole. Randy Stair started his YouTube channel Pioneers Productions back in 2008. Sketch comedy, collabs, all things that many people were doing on early YouTube. By 2014, he said he was dealing with depression and stopped doing comedy. Instead, he launched an animated series called Ember's Ghost Squad. Basically a fan-made spin-off of a Nickelodeon show built around a ghost character that he had gotten really fixated on. And what happened over the next 3 years is all on camera. He started believing the characters from the show were real. He thought that when he passed away, he'd be reincarnated as one of them. He named his sons after characters from the show. He filmed a walkthrough of his workplace, a Wees Market supermarket in Pennsylvania where he'd been working overnight shifts for 7 years. In the month leading up to June 8th, 2017, he uploaded what was basically a real-time record of himself falling apart. His subscribers were watching the whole time. Nobody understood what they were actually looking at. On the evening of June 7th, in the early hours of June 8th, Randy Stair blocked the exits of the Weis Market store, pulled 2 out of a duffel bag, and took the lives of 3 of his co-workers, Victoria Brong, Brian Hayes, and Terry Lee Sterling, before ending his own. He was 24. Every step of it is documented. But at the time, nobody saw it for what it was. His audience was there the whole time. They were just watching something else. If you grew up in the early 2000s, you know this look. The glossy blues, the bright greens, the translucent water effects, the clean fonts. It's the Windows 7 login screen. It's every piece of technology from that era looking like the future was going to be beautiful. That whole aesthetic has a name now. Fruitiger Arrow. Someone took that and edited real into it. That's the video. You're watching these calm, nostalgic visuals. The grass, the water, the blue sky, and then there's a body cut into it. And it's clearly on purpose. Nobody accidentally edits to a Windows aesthetic. Whoever made this knew exactly what they were doing and why. For this video there's no setup, no context, and no explanation. A man opens a coffin in his backyard, and inside it is the body of his great-grandmother. He kisses her. That's the whole video. It doesn't really feel like anything you can put a label on. And apparently, the man who made the video is also deaf. It just feels like something you weren't supposed to see. Something private that ended up on YouTube for reasons nobody has ever explained. Some things on this iceberg don't have an answer because nobody ever gave one. This is one of them. The channel had over 800,000 subscribers, more than 350 million views. Disney had reached out, Nerf had reached out. By every measure it was a successful family YouTube channel. Kids in costumes, lightsaber battles, cookie challenges, all the stuff that works. Behind the camera, the children were starving. Muel Hobson had adopted 7 children and she used them to make content. When they refused to perform, or forgot their lines, or didn't meet her standards, she punished them. The rest of the house was filthy. 2 rooms were kept clean for shooting videos. The Arizona Department of Child Safety got reports about this family at least 10 times over 8 years. Every single time they said the allegations were unsubstantiated and left the children in the home. Hobson was arrested in March 2019. She passed away in November 2019 before she could stand trial. Her 2 biological sons later pled guilty to sexual misconduct and were sentenced to prison. Now let's go back to 2008, to one of the original creepy YouTube videos. One that played on our fears about the platform itself. A Japanese creator who goes by Nana825763 uploaded a video called Username 666. The premise was simple but effective. What happens if you try to visit a YouTube channel that doesn't exist? What if you kept trying? The video shows someone repeatedly typing 666 into YouTube search bar. Each time the page glitches out more and more. The interface starts to corrupt. Strange images appear. The YouTube logo warps and distorts. Eventually, the entire screen becomes a nightmare of visual artifacts and disturbing imagery. It's not real, of course. Nana is known for making surreal horror content. Their channel switches between genuinely disturbing videos and wholesome content about their ant farm. But Username 666 tapped into something specific to the era it was created in. In 2008, YouTube still felt new and slightly mysterious. The idea that there might be hidden, forbidden content buried somewhere in the platform, content that could corrupt your screen and show you things you weren't meant to see, felt realistic in a way it doesn't today. This video has over 17 million views. It spawned countless imitations and helped establish an entire genre of cursed YouTube content. And while we now know it was just creative editing by a skilled horror filmmaker, there's still something unsettling about watching it. It makes you experience the old internet, a place with dark corners you could accidentally stumble into. In 2014, 2 children appeared on camera making detailed allegations. They described a group carrying out rituals involving harm against real people. They named teachers, priests, social workers, and police officers as being involved. They described specific rooms where these things supposedly took place. A police investigation found no evidence of any of it. The rooms they described didn't exist. Some of the officers they named didn't exist. The children later told police they had been forced to say all of it by their mother and her partner, in a process that a family court judge described as involving extreme coercion. The mother, Ella Draper, had coached them. Her partner had helped. The videos went viral anyway because a woman named Sabine McNeil, a 76-year-old conspiracy theorist, took the police interview footage and leaked it online. Over 4 million people watched them. The people who were named, completely innocent people, teachers and parents and local figures, got threats. Some were forced out of their homes. Some had to change their identities entirely. An American conspiracy theorist named Rupert Wilson Quaintance actually flew from Virginia to Hampstead to investigate the families himself. He got 9 months in prison for harassment. McNeil got 9 years. At least 7 people in total were arrested in connection with the harassment that followed. Some of those people are still dealing with it today. A Channel 4 documentary called Accused, the Hampstead file hoax, that aired in 2024 interviewed people whose lives were destroyed by a lie. People who have spent over a decade trying to rebuild what was taken from them by a video. The mother fled to Spain to avoid prosecution. She's still promoting the original allegations online. Over 175 people were named. None of them did anything. YouTube is a public platform. Everything covered in this video was indexed, searchable, and accessible to anyone who looked. Some of it was disturbing because that was its purpose. Some of it was disturbing because of what was happening off camera. And some of it is still out there right now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to also take a look at my Spotify podcast.